Boom. Hey, internets. Had a good question from Rashad Cleveland. Okay, this has a lot to do with people that will do the investment up front. And I was definitely a victim to this as well, with my instinct of me going forward in wanting to have a clothing line that's successful and putting everything together and making sure everything is kind of thorough. So let me continue with what he said. I started producing my own pieces for my clothing line. I invested 3 vinyl cutters, ran through 6 heat presses, and just purchased a sublimation printer. I've watched your videos on producing, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Should I abandon in-house production? Oh, I feel like I'm putting the horse before the carriage. Should I abandon in-house production? I should add that I really enjoy making the pieces. I just ended up having a lot of merch to sit on. Okay, so Rashad, short answer is yes. You are putting the horse or the carriage before the horse in one aspect. Okay, typically where people are rush in on it is they'll make product and not take care of the legal aspect of setting up the business. So maybe something as simple as having a DBA and having a wholesaler's permit, so you could buy blanks and then decorate the blanks. When I say decorate, screen printing is also considered decoration, or the changing of a blank t-shirt to have graphics on it and sell a t-shirt line, etc., etc. Blanks for hats when you do embroideries of snapbacks or dad caps or whatever's in at the moment and readily available to actually produce. So I'm a fan of making your own merchandise so you don't have to pay production. Now, I'm troubled though when it says you've run through 6 heat presses. If you're buying them on Craigslist and they're breaking down, that's one thing, but to run through 3 heat presses, I mean, at the shop we had, when I owned a high volume screen printing shop, we owned 3. These are very industrial though, so they're on the higher end, but we bought them used. But those were war horses, and they lasted a long time for us, just because of the amount of volume we were doing with actual heat press was not significant. So let me say this, Rashad, putting the cart before the horse would typically not having the paperwork. I want to say that to the community or to the culture, anybody that's listening to me. But in terms of production, I'm actually a fan of you starting this way. And typically if you get a bunch of designs that start to pop and start to do very well in terms of design, that's when you kind of move forward and you can bring it to a production shop, hopefully, and have the design, you know, hopefully you created the design, so then you can turn it into a tech pack in order for them to mass produce. So I'm actually a fan of it. And the fact that you like it is really good. You know, it's really good, because definitely at some point you could end up hating it. So you got to be passionate about it if you're trying to go at it long term. So let me back up also with another question. We have to figure out what our goals are, because if you have a 9-to-5 and want this to be a side business, we still want the business part of it is what I'm concerned about. We want to make sure that you have income coming in from it. And it's a bad sign if you're sitting on a lot of inventory, especially if you're making it yourself. Okay, so let's make sure the stuff sells and moves. I just did a video on this. What you can do is preview the items you're going to drop by maybe having an Instagram and then superimposing the design on a t-shirt or a hat or whatever you're using the press for. But I'm assuming it's t-shirts. You could also do bags with a heat press, so maybe it's bags. But anything you're doing is you're probably buying blanks and then using now probably the sublimation printer you're also using. But all of that stuff is designed on the computer, so you can superimpose it onto the substrate or the t-shirt or the bag, whatever it's going to be. Drop it on Instagram and see, you know, have people vote, like, would you cop or not, or would you buy this? If you would buy this, you know, give me a flame emoji or a heart emoji, that sort of thing, so you can have an idea of what people would like to see from your brand. Okay, so so investing in production is not bad, but I would gauge how much money you're getting back from it. You have to make sure it makes sense. A lot of times when people are jumping at the gun, they'll just show up at the trade show and basically end up losing anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 in one 3-day excursion trying to get their brands to wholesale buyers. It's the worst way to start and end your dream in apparel. So I actually think you're doing good small steps, but just gauge what people are purchasing, like what people are actually buying, and you should go from there. You should take your lead from what you get a strong pulse on. So find like the Instagram idea, find different ways to maybe get an idea of pre-sale before you actually commit to making them. But if you have the heat press, I feel like you can do one at a time. So you can make a ton of styles. You can make a deep catalog and just make 1 to 5 of them at a time. So I would take a look at how you're actually fulfilling your production as well, Rashad, okay? Hope that helps. If you guys have any other questions, please drop it all down below. Follow me on social media when you have the chance. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.